All right, the chef tell you can just eat your heart out here. I am grilling a cheesesteak for somebody. First one to step up gets a cheesesteak. This is Todd Wagner's stand. Todd, how's business?
All right.
All right. You ever yell out to the folks and tell them what you got?
No, I don't.
You don't. I'll tell you what he does have. He has cheesesteaks and Reuben sandwiches and kielbasa, folks. And if you're coming down from watching this, we're right across from the Farm Museum. Tomorrow, come on down here. Come over here, Jimmy. Jimmy, come over here. Tomorrow, I want you to come on down and say hello to me and meet people like me and Jimmy right here at the Bloomsburg Fair on the $16,000 movie.
We'll tell you about the dry weather and how it's hurting farmers across the state. I'm Karen Harch, live at the Bloomsburg Fair.
And I'm Nolan Johannes. Newswatch 16 is next.
WNEP salutes Sue Heon on her way to the Olympics.
This is the news station, WNEP 16.
More people are aware of the weather these days, but the farmers feel that weather, especially the drought, first. Karen Harch is at the Bloomsburg Fair now with that story. Karen?
Well, Nolan, it's a beautiful day here at the Bloomsburg Fair. It's probably the best weather you'd ever want for walking around the fairgrounds. But this kind of weather is exactly the kind that bothers farmers the most. The dry weather, the warm weather, the drought. It's hurting farmers, even the ones that came here to show off their crops and animals here at the Bloomsburg Fair. I spoke with some dairy farmers earlier today. Dairy farmers are in a bind. The summer's drought has damaged corn and other crops farmers grow to feed their cows. This is the crop damage I saw in Columbia County as I flew in Skycam 16 to the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds. Normally, farmers grow extra, and there would be a surplus, but this year is different. The government paid farmers not to grow, leaving fields idle and a shortage of feed. So what's a dairy farmer to do? The state government says Uncle Sam should help dairy farmers buy feed that they normally grow themselves. Danville dairy farmer Randy Kitchen is here at the fair. He grows his own feed. This year, his cows will have less than half the feed they had last year. He needs the government's help.
If they do give some kind of assistance or a government loan, it's going to help a lot of guys get through the winter. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of people going out of business right now with all this assessments and this poor year. There's a lot of guys that are going to have trouble making it.
Well, some say government feed programs are needed to help bail out dairy farmers. Others say those programs in the long run would do more harm than good. Frank Gerbala is one of them.
I haven't seen too many government programs that really work. They have an immediate effect one way or another, but in the long run, they don't really pan out.
Gerbala does not grow feed on his Orangeville farm. He buys it instead.
It would increase the price of the feed I'm feeding now. I'd have to be competing against farmers that are being reimbursed for grain that didn't produce this year. And I wouldn't be getting any remuneration myself. I'd have to put the whole bill where the other farmers would be getting a kickback on it.
Now, whether it's the government that helps out the farmers or some other type of program, all farmers I talked to today here at the Bloomsburg Fair say they do need help and they need it fast. The economic hard times are also hitting homeowners, and the pressure's on lawmakers to help.
Also in Harrisburg, legislators turn out 2 gambling bills. We'll tell you what's up as Newswatch 16 continues.
15 and Miami has a touchdown!
Hello, I'm Jimmy Cephalo of the Miami Dolphins. I grew up in Pittston and I love this area of Pennsylvania, but I don't like what's happening to some of our youngsters in this area and throughout the country: drugs and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol make you think that you're stronger, faster, and smarter, but they actually make you slower, less coherent, and weaker. Stay away from them. Do yourself a favor. They're only trouble.
It's the talk of the town in Harrisburg. They're talking about the chances for gambling legislation to come out of this session. Luzerne County's Representative Thomas Teig is giving odds for his bill favoring full-fledged casino gambling in the Poconos. Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci went to Harrisburg today to find out why.
In the first 8 months of this year, Atlantic City casinos grossed over $1 billion. Now some government officials here in Pennsylvania are getting jealous.
The fact of the matter is, Atlantic City has now become the #1 tourist area in the history of the world. Sounds crazy, but 23 million visitors will go to Atlantic City.
Representative Thomas Teig wants to see Pennsylvania get a piece of the gaming action. So today he introduced a bill which would legalize casinos in 4 counties in the Pocono Mountains. Teig says the casinos would bring about $200 million a year to state government.
The money would stay in the local municipalities and would go to local school districts throughout the state.
We really don't want, I think, at least I really don't want, an Atlantic City in Pennsylvania.
Representative David Sweet disagrees with Tighe's casino proposal. He's introducing a more modest legal gambling bill that would allow only slot machines in the Poconos.
I don't think that we ought to go the whole route of having casino gambling in Pennsylvania.
Right now in the Poconos, there is strong sentiment against any new form of legal gambling. And so both the Tighe and the Sweet gaming bills are expected to be tied up in committee for months or perhaps years. But some people believe that if Atlantic City continues to draw visitors away from Pennsylvania, the anti-gambling sentiment may change.
And then lawmakers say the bills being introduced this week could end up as this state's biggest wild card in the high-stakes game of winning tourists. Dan Fiorucci, Newswatch 16, Harrisburg.
Earlier, we told you about farmers who are hurting from the weather. Some homeowners are also hurting, but it's not because of the weather. It's tough economic times. Today in Harrisburg, a Senate committee listened to people who face losing their homes because of unforeseen problems. They're asking for a bill to help people who find themselves in tight times. Lawmakers are considering making a fund to give emergency loans to homeowners to prevent foreclosure. A Newswatch 16 update at 11, Mark Davis will have a report on one family who did get some emergency help, but now that well is running dry. Well, the weather out here at the fair has been gorgeous all day. And Tom Clark will be up next to tell us what tomorrow looks like.
I'm Mike Stevens. Join me on the Pennsylvania Road on Newswatch 16.
Boy, in our backyard, things are sunny and clear. Right, Mr. Meteorologist?
They sure are, Nolan. It is beautiful out here now, and it's only bad when Eastern takes off, right when I'm doing the weather. He left about an hour ago. Some would call this Indian summer weather. It sure looks and feels like it out here now. And the fact is, Indian summer does not come until about mid or late autumn. And it has to come after an extended period of cool weather and a hard freeze. And in some areas of northeastern and central Pennsylvania, there has not yet been any frost. So it's debatable whether or not this is Indian summer. But like I say, it looks good to me. Look at the temperature outside now in this backyard. We have not a cloud in the sky at the moment. Blue sky, a few chipmunks hopping around. Temperature 73 degrees. Now, the humidity is 58%, the wind west at 10, and you can set your barometer to read 30.2 inches, and it's now falling. Our high today in this backyard was a very comfortable 74 degrees. That's 5 degrees above normal. The low last night went down to 45. Records for the date 86, 83 years ago, and the record low 30 set back in 1947. And that there is live showing some of the activity at the Bloomsburg Fair. A great place to go, especially if you're hungry. They have a tremendous selection of food at that fair this year as in years past. Let's look at Newswatch 16's color satellite photograph. Now look up here in the extreme right-hand corner. The weather report now from on top of Mount Washington, 6,000 feet high up in New Hampshire. Temperature 38 degrees with a dense fog and the wind gusting up to 57 miles per hour. Probably one of the worst places to be along the East Coast right now as far as the weather is concerned. Speaking of wind, a lot of windy weather expected over the next couple of days along the coast of the Carolinas because of this stubborn developing storm system out in the Atlantic. Indications are it will probably stay to our south over the next 4 and 5 days and not have too much and any bad influence on our weather up in Pennsylvania. Look at the tremendous load of stable air. Very cool, sunny, dry weather over the eastern two-thirds of the nation. But Nolan, summer has made a big comeback in the upper Midwest. 93 up there in Aberdeen, South Dakota this afternoon. Some record high temperatures set again today. And some of this very hot air trying to work its way in towards Pennsylvania. It won't get to 90 here, but I think we can call for temperatures to come close to 80 here as we head into the weekend. Another big surge of cold Canadian air coming down out of western Canada. You can see the cloudiness with it. That front won't reach us before Monday of next week. Here's our forecast for tonight. It looks like this. A clear night, starry skies. The moon will be up late tonight, like towards midnight. And fog will be forming later on tonight. 48 in Lackawaxen over there in Pike County. 45 in Drums. 48 in Palo Alto. Hello down there in Schuylkill County. 48 West Milton and about 40 in LaPorte. That's cold, typical for Sullivan County. Tomorrow, some fog in the morning. Some of it could be quite dense.
Some haze around, but plenty of sunshine. Temperatures back up into the 70s. The Bloomsburg Fair, 76 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Get out and enjoy it. 74 after a morning low of 48. A nice day tomorrow. Nice again on Thursday. Nice on Friday. No rain still. 78 degrees and I think near 80 on Saturday. Still dry. As we head through the weekend, it looks mighty fine to me. September, some of the nicest weather of the year. The fact is, in Nolan, it's that way tonight, and it'll be that way again tomorrow.
That is good news, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Excellent news. Karen looks like she's enjoying it out there, too. Joe Zone is up next with the sports.
And I'll have more from the Bloomsburg Fair. Mike Stevens has a story that really shoots right down the funnel.
Newswatch 16 is everywhere.
This is the second day of the Bloomsburg Fair. It opened up yesterday with a record-breaking crowd for the first day of the fair. Over 54,000 people were here. And today we may break another record. I came to Bloomsburg in Skycam 16 this afternoon, and this is what the fairgrounds look like around 2 o'clock. You can see the crowds of people walking around, enjoying all the food, the game booths, souvenir shops. The Bloomsburg Fair has 17 more acres of ground this year, and that means it covers about 200 acres here in Columbia County. There's parking for 20,000 cars, but a lot of people come down by the busload. And I'm told about 100 people bring their campers here every year and camp out at the fairgrounds all week long. Now, right now, as far as entertainment goes, maybe you could hear it in the background, we have Mickey Gilley, that popular country western singer. He is singing to a sellout crowd right over the grandstand, and by looking over there, it is sold out. It's packed, and it seems like they're really enjoying what's going on. And another concert for Thursday night, the Oak Ridge Boys will be here, and also that's sold out, too. So lots of activity here. How about in the sports world, Joe? Any activity going on?
Wonderful day at the Bloomsburg State Fair, as you have heard Karen say, but for a few dreadful moments this afternoon, a near tragedy had some harness race fans on the edge of their seats. We were there for the Lady Powder Puff Derby. Now watch as the horses bunch together around the first turn. Right there, the horse goes down in front, another behind it also goes down. A third horse veers to the right, throws its driver, and then heads back the other way. Meanwhile, the race is continued. All three drivers somehow pick themselves up, and even more unbelievably, the two horses are untangled and both stand up, apparently unharmed. The drivers involved were just thankful no one was seriously injured.
Her horse was bearing in and come in and cut his legs out. You all right? Yeah. How about you? I got fine, but I couldn't do a thing. He was just trying to get bearing so hard. I seen him coming. When you come flying up, I seen him coming in. I know, and I was making it.
Too many times we've seen a story like this end with horses or drivers injured or even killed. Today at the Bloomsburg State Fair, the real winners of the Powder Puff Derby were not the people who finished the race. One of the best-looking boxing cards, really, that we've seen in a long time. Coming up tomorrow night at the Scranton CYC, Mark Holmes, Larry's brother, 10th ranked by the WBC, is fighting. So's 5th ranked Jim Schuler. A couple of locals on that undercard, too. Holmes, you know, is already having some problems. He didn't show today for a media get-together because of a controversy about pay for his sparring partners.
We will straighten it out, and I'm absolutely sure there will be a fight.
Okay, that's the next question I was going to ask you. Is the fight in jeopardy at all?
No, I feel it's not in jeopardy at all. Not at all.
Okay.
If Holmes shows up tomorrow night, and we suspect, of course, he will, he's going to take on Sammy Leonard out of Oklahoma, who isn't impressed much by Holmes' family ties.
It don't make me no difference. I'll fight anybody. You know, I'm not afraid. I get in the ring with Hagler. It don't make me no difference. You know, I figure like this, he human, I'm human. He's a man, I'm a man, you know, and I come to fight. I hope he come to fight.
Well, today Holmes didn't come to talk, but tomorrow night he will definitely be there to fight. CYC in Scranton, that is tomorrow night. New college top 10 out in Nebraska, without question, still the top-ranked team in the country. Take a look at it. Number 1, Nebraska. They've been there since the season began. Then it's Texas, Arizona, Iowa, North Carolina, Alabama, West Virginia, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Auburn. Pitt's loss to Maryland drops them out of the top 20. Notre Dame's second straight loss should eliminate them from any future consideration. And if head coach Jerry Faust makes it past this season, there really is no God. Okay, let's go to the fishing forecast and check on that. Nice time tomorrow, 5:15 a.m. And boy, that looks an awful lot like yesterday. So you can see the best time to get out there is early tomorrow. That's all of it. Give tonight your best shot. I'll see you at 11 o'clock.
All right, we'll be there right down to the wire again, right?
they may clinch tomorrow.
Okay, we will see. Thank you, Joe. Finally, when we come back, we'll be wrapping up our report from the Bloomsburg Fair.
Mike Stevens has been poking around where else the food stands. He'll have the story of a lady who keeps us rolling in dough.
Everything you want to know about outdoor life Saturday. There's a sound at the fair that is almost hidden by the hustle and bustle of everything else. It's the sizzle of funnel cakes getting golden brown in a pan. That sizzle has been music to Alice Reinert's ears for nearly 20 years.
Well, when I was married, had 2 children and a little boy, I had a foster son, you know. And after he passed away, I needed to do something, so I went and I made funnel cakes. But what else can I do but do this, you know? You gotta make a living, and I know funnel cakes because I used to carry them to the fields for the men, you know, when I was on the farm when I was a little girl. Funnel cakes! Get the touch of the Dutch! Get to know what food is!
Well, Alice doesn't carry them anymore. Folks come to her looking for those little twirls of fried eggs, milk, flour, and a touch of the Dutch, to bask in a snowstorm of powdered sugar on top. And who cares if it drifts over onto your nice dark clothes?
Well, the good things are the way the people talk out front, and I love people. And I guess by now I could write a book of all the things that happen, you know.
Passing by a funnel cake at the fair is kind of like passing up kielbasa at a Polish wedding. You simply don't do it. Hi, what kind do you have?
I have plain and blueberry.
Plain or blueberry?
The plain are $1.25 and the blueberry are $1.50.
Let me have a plain one.
Okay.
A touch of powdered sugar, and I was all set, fortified to wander the fair again. Alice Reinert and her open-faced good humor are the extra topping on an old family recipe for funnel cakes. I'm Mike Stevens, Newswatch 16 on the Pennsylvania Road at the Bloomsburg Fair.
Like I said, Mickey Gilley is playing right now over at the grandstand to a sellout crowd. There's a show that just started at 6 o'clock, another show that starts at 8:30. And then on Thursday night, the Oak Ridge Boys are here. I'm sure you've heard about them. They'll have 2 shows at 6 o'clock and 8:30, but both of them are sold out too. But there's lots going on down here, a lot of food, a lot of fun. I ate before some homemade pierogies from St. Mary's Church in Shamokin, and they were delicious. In fact, I think Nolan wants me to bring some back for him. Don't you, Nolan?
Karen, I want you to bring back for me potato pancakes, pierogies, funnel cakes, and anything else that you can find. So you just make sure that you do that. Do you understand?
Okay, I promise.
Oh, yeah.
See you later.
Joe Zone says pizza, and Tom says apple cider.
Oh, my goodness. Let me write this down.
Okay. It's a good time, as you can tell, and Karen has been there all day. She'll be back with us on the update tonight at 11, of course. Also on the update, we'll be telling you about a development that's run out of water. For Karen and the entire team, I'm Nolan Johannes, hoping that you'll have a good evening. Stay tuned now for ABC and World News Tonight. Good night.